and girls, welcome back to the Fourth Down Forum podcast. I now possess all 6 Infinity Stones, meaning I can bend reality, mind, space, time, and power to my will. Without further ado, I know y'all just seen me. It feels like we just been here, right? Let's get this out of the way for starters. I told y'all I am a big, and I do mean big, Marvel nerd. But without further ado, welcome to episode 30 of your Fourth Down Forum podcast. I am your host, Dereck M. Fuster, and we are going to be covering your AFC predictions for this upcoming season. So that's your AFC South, North, East, and West. So last episode that I put out, excuse me, y'all, give me just a second. Y'all seen the NFC prediction video, or at the time of this recording, that video should be coming out soon. I have a specific day in mind for when I would like to drop this one. So your AFC prediction video, at the time y'all will be seeing this, will be uploaded the morning of NFL kickoff. So that will be Thursday, September 5th. And without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with the AFC. Do we want to start off with the North? I mean, I am wearing them, but no, let's save the best. And yes, I'm biased. Let's save the best for last. So let's talk about your AFC West. In fourth place, so in that division, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got the Las Vegas Raiders, you got the Los Angeles Chargers, and there's another team I'm missing. Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, and the Denver Broncos. So right off rip, Denver Broncos got a new head coach in Sean Payton. He's a phenomenal head coach. What I don't foresee happening, though, is this team just coming out of the blue and wowing people. They got a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, a rookie wide receiver coming in Troy Franklin, which, you know, it's good for Bo Nix because that was his college wide receiver at Oregon. But you traded one of your other guys, and I'm not going to say which one because I know it was either Judy or Sutton. And part of me wants to say it was Judy that was traded to Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. However, so you got to implement all that. Your run game is who exactly? Don't get me wrong. Their running backs aren't bad, but they're not, top of the line. So with that said, we're putting the Denver Broncos in fourth place. Behind them, we are going to put the Las Vegas Raiders in third. Why do I say this? Well, for me, and I do apologize that I keep moving my hand and stuff. My drink is over there. So for me, it comes down to quarterback play. And you don't know which version of Gardner Minshew you're going to get. Are you going to get Minshew Mania or are you going to get Minshew crap the bed? You got Devontae Adams. That's cool. I got him in a fantasy league too. And yes, we're continuing the trend of, there goes Dereck. He's talking about his fantasy team. You're damn right I'm talking about him. I'm trying to win some cold, hard cash here. I'm trying to win. In one league, it's a $200 prize, so I'm trying to cash in on that. In another league, it's a $60. And that's probably one of my most fun leagues because it's no kickers, no defenses. And then in my league that me and my boy Isaiah co-commish, the winner gets an NFL jersey on that one. So dope all across the board. But the Raiders, who's their running back? It was Josh Jacobs, but he is now with the Green Bay Packers. So your run game, where's it at? Defense, they got a dog in Max Crosby. Their defense will be solid. However, the Los Angeles Chargers, a.k.a. the Ravens West, and I know, I have a lot of Chargers fans that I am really close friends with, great, friends, whatnot. I hate to do this to y'all. I do not have y'all winning that division. And actually, I don't hate to do it because I remember the one time I did pick y'all to win, y'all said I was jinxing y'all. So I'm not going to pick y'all to win this year. Also, y'all like the cup? Very demure, right? Yeah, we're using that terminology again. If you do like this cup, shout out to my aunt. She made it for me. You can find her page on Facebook. It'd be Crafty Corner by Chrissy. I can link it down in the bio below once I am done uploading and editing this. And no, this isn't a paid sponsorship or any thing like that. I'm just shouting out family, and you know, my aunt does amazing work on these cups. So, but back to business at hand. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Ravens West, they went out. They got a phenomenal GM in Jim Ortiz. I would know because he was with the Baltimore Ravens. They went out and got a Harbaugh as their head coach. And for as much crap as y'all want to talk about either of the Harbaugh brothers, they know a thing or two about coaching in the NFL. Both men have been in the Super Bowl. John's won the Super Bowl. Had the little dig in there. Sorry, Chargers fans. But Jim is no slouch either. Jim Harbaugh just won the national title with Michigan last year. So, you do that. You got some dogs at running back in J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I would know. They were my running backs for how many years? But you know, we moved on to a upgrade at running back, and I think it worked out for both parties, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Wide receivers, though, concern me. They drafted Ladd McConkey. Cool. They traded Keenan Allen to the Bears. They have Quentin Johnson. And I believe, I don't know if he made the roster or not, but they had another wide receiver. His name eludes me at the moment. I do apologize for that. Your defense. What are we going to get out of the Chargers defense this year? Sorry, y'all. I got to mess with the mic again. We don't know what we're going to get out of the Chargers defense. It could be good. They got pieces there. They got a Bosa brother. They got Khalil Mack. You know, you got Derwin James back there in the secondary. So I'm not going to say this is like a crappy defense by any means. I think they're going to take a step forward personally. But it's their wide receivers that scare me. Their tight end combo is Parham, I believe, and Hayden Hurst. And Hayden Hurst is up there in age as a tight end. And I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope Hayden Hurst balls out. I really hope he does. Because, you know, I'm cool. I like the guy. I like Hayden Hurst. I got no ill will towards him. Except when he was playing with Cincinnati. I wasn't really rooting for him then. But for obvious reasons. But that said, I have your Los Angeles Chargers finishing second, count them, in the AFC West. And the more things change, the more things stay the same. And as much as the Ravens fan in me would not like to put them in this spot, the journalist in me will not allow me to be biased. The Kansas City Chiefs have gotten weaker on defense, you know. However, that doesn't really matter when you get Mahomes an even better wide receiver core than he had last season. He didn't really have anybody outside of, I know his name. Is it Worthy? Was drafted this year by them. So you got Xavier Worthy. You got Marquise Hollywood Brown, which I'm familiar with his game. He was a Baltimore Raven. That's the team who drafted him. You got, why is his name eluding me at the moment? I do apologize for that, y'all. I want to say Rice, but that doesn't sound right. No, maybe it was. But this is arguably a better wide receiver core than he had last year. And last year, he won the dang Super Bowl with the crappy wide receiving core. So, you know, in essence of, or not in essence of, with the exception of Brady, there's not really a lot of other quarterbacks in the league that can make Walmart bag boys look like goated wide receivers. Mahomes, Brady, those two. But that said, give me the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West. So let's go from the West to the AFC East. Off rip. The New England Patriots are finishing fourth in their division. They're finishing last. Why do I say this? New head coach. Bill Belichick is no longer the head guy in charge there. Don't think that head coach is a slouch by any means. But Judon is gone now. He's with the Falcons. That's the defender I couldn't figure out on the NFC one. Why did I not? I'm beating myself up over it now. But, yes, that happened. Your quarterback's Jacoby Brissett. Serviceable, but not the guy I want leading my team. Your running backs, Ramondre Stevenson, I believe. Your wide receivers, who? In third place, this is a toss-up because I could say it's going to be them, but I could say it's not going to be them. So let's talk about the Buffalo Bills real quick, because the Buffalo Bills this offseason lost both their starting wide receivers. So they lost Gabe Davis and they lost Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. We'll cover that a little later once we get to the AFC South. So that happened. The Bills running back is Singletary. Decent. Not the best running back in that division, though. Your defense. What version of them are we going to get? Because you're getting a rookie Keon Coleman. I mean, you still got Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is a great quarterback, don't get me wrong. But that said, I remember in the 2023 version of this same episode that I did, like the prediction video, I was bashing on the Jets heavily. And honestly, the Jets season comes down to if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy or not. Will he be able to? I guess we'll see this upcoming Monday. But that said, we're going to go... Are we going to go mind over heart here? Or are we going to go heart over mind? I think we're going to go heart over mind because it's telling me to put the Bills at number 3, and that's what we're going to do. That's going to come back to bite me in the ass if they somehow, sneak into the playoffs. That said, I feel like I'm trolling at that point if I do that. I'm not going to, though. In second place, because realistically, I could see this being a toss-up between, hey, it's either going to be them or them who win that division. However, in second place, give me the New York Jets. Why? Rodgers is coming off an Achilles injury. He is not a young man. He is an old man playing a young man's game. And I know y'all are going to be like, yo, D, chill, you're hating on Rodgers. Far from it, my friends. I am a Aaron Rodgers supporter. I got some friends who aren't, and that's okay. We're allowed to have our differences when it comes to stuff like that. Excuse me for just a second, y'all. I'm going to grab my drink. I do apologize. It is very hot in this room, so you know. But yeah, far from it. I have a New York Jets Aaron Rodgers t-shirt that I asked for last year for Christmas. So, lo and behold, they have Breece Hall, phenomenal. They have wide receivers. Why are the Jets wide receivers eluding my mind right now? I know their names. I promise y'all, I know I know football. Obviously, I wouldn't do a podcast on it if I didn't. But what is his... It's not Olave. Olave's with the Saints. I know that. Let's just say the Jets in general as a whole have a great roster at wide receiver across the board. However, they don't have the best group of wide receivers in that division. They also lost Hassan Reddick, or they didn't lose him. They got traded Hassan Reddick. And if he wasn't holding out like a little you-know-what, then maybe, just maybe, I would pick the Jets to win this division. But for those reasons, they got Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner's dope. He's nice. Would love to see him become a Raven one day, but, not going to happen. But for those reasons, give me the Jets at number 2. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. Give me your Miami Dolphins as your 2024 AFC East Division winners. Why do I say this? Tua Talladega Nick at night. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. PC Principal. Mike. Nope. The head coach. I think I got the name wrong. I do apologize for that. But, you got the head coach. Just re-signed him. You got Tyreek Hill. You got the Cheetah. You got Waddle. I don't care what anybody says. Odell Beckham Jr. is not washed. He is not in his prime anymore, obviously. We know that. He's not going to go and be your wide receiver 1. But he is more than serviceable to mentor your younger guys and be a viable number 3 option. So when he gets off the physically unable to perform list, Miami's going to make some noise. Their running backs. I remember playing fantasy last year. The old dude came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, let me try and get him off the wire. I did not get him off the wire, but look at their defense as well. Miami picked up some pieces on defense. So I believe they have Bradley Chubb, if I'm not mistaken. Phenomenal pass rusher, and I will always say this in the game of football. You need your pass rushers to be up front because the pass rushers in the secondary are going to work hand in hand. You're not making pressure up front. You can't force the quarterback to make mistakes, force him to pressure, whatnot, or make mistakes. You know what I'm trying to say here. So we've covered the West. We've covered the East. Let's cover the AFC South. So 3. AFC South is a interesting division because in that one, you got the Texans, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Jaguars, and why am I all of a sudden not remembering who's in the AFC South? Texans, Jaguars, Titans. Give me just a second, y'all. My brain's like going through every NFL team. It's not the Titans, it's not the Steelers, it's not the Vikings, Bears, Bengals, Browns, Bucks, Bills, Broncos, Cardinals, Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins, Eagles, Falcons, 49ers, Giants, Patriots, Raiders, Rams, Saints, Steelers. We already covered that. This is a dilemma I've put myself in here. The Titans, the Jaguars, the Colts. It's the Colts. How could I forget that? That's the team that left Baltimore, and that's why we have the Ravens now. How could I forget that? Let's just erase that part ever happened where I forgot what team it was. That's enough out of you. But yeah, so let's talk about it. Your bottom feeder. And no, this is not because I'm like, oh, well, it's kind of a rivalry or brewing again. Your bottom feeder for the AFC South is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill is not their starting quarterback anymore. He's actually a free agent at the time of this recording. Derrick Henry, I repeat, King Henry is no longer a Tennessee Titan. We'll cover what team he's with, for those who don't know, when we get to the AFC North. Their starting running back is Tony Pollard. The wide receiver core, DeAndre Hopkins still there, but every time you put a veteran Titans player in a jersey, they don't yield the results you want them to. I seen a tweet and it was like, every player that goes to the Titans after being with different teams looks washed. And I was like, I had to think about it. But yeah, speaking of the Tennessee Titans though, Netflix came out with a new documentary on the murder of Steve Air McNair. Nothing but love for that guy. I didn't get to watch him play because, believe it or not, your boy did not always like football. So, when McNair was playing, I'm like, oh, Game Boy Color, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, stuff like that. And yes, I know some people could be like, well, you could like both. Kyle Bowler was our quarterback back then. Trust me, my dad tried to get me to watch the games, and I would be like, this is boring. I don't know. Something finally clicked, though, so there's that. But yeah, definitely go and stream that when you get the chance. I plan on watching it. I will give my thoughts and stuff when I'm on probably like Twitter or something, not on here. But yeah, for that reason and those reasons alone, I have the Titans finishing 4th in that division. So now it's down to the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Texans. This is one of the hardest divisions to predict outside of the Titans. But let's talk about it. So the Colts have essentially a rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson, because he was a rookie last year, but he got injured. This is going to be his first full season as a starter. Can that yield results? Yeah, sometimes it can. Look at Lamar's first full year as a starter. The man went out, won the second unanimous MVP. So, could definitely happen. Sorry about that, y'all. I got to mess with the mic again. Do apologize for all the movement in the video here. Come on, don't be like that. All right, back in business, y'all. But yeah, so they have a stud running back in Jonathan Taylor. You got Michael Pittman Jr. You got weapons there. You got defensive weapons too. And as much as I'm not even going to call it biased, but as much as the history I know, like if you look at this photo right here, on one side it is Baltimore Colts players, on the other side it is Baltimore Ravens players. So there's obviously an embedded history there. But that said, using logic, I think just for the reason of Anthony Richardson coming back, and we don't know what he's going to do, I have the Colts finishing 3rd. It has nothing to do with, they used to be the Baltimore Colts. Trust me, nothing like that. But in 2nd place for the AFC South, I'm going to give it to your Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Trevor Lawrence. You got Travis Etienne. Wide receivers, I couldn't tell you off rip all their names. But you got weapons down there. We've seen what Trevor Lawrence can do with them. But your AFC South division winners, and I am going based off of what I've seen last year out of a phenomenal CJ Stroud. You pair that with a Joe Mixon, a Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, guys of those natures, D'Amico Ryans as a head coach. This team is going to win the AFC South again. So that said, we saved the best for last. Arguably the best division in football. In fourth place, I'm going to give it to... I can't give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers, as much joy as that would bring me just being a Ravens fan. Mike Tomlin, you SOB, I got to tip my hat to you, sir. That man always manages to will a team, a Pittsburgh Steelers-led team, to a 9-7, a 10-8 record, things of that nature, where it's like, okay, well, they're not the worst, but they could be better. And that's not to say Tomlin's a bad coach either. I mean, hell, their quarterback was Kenny Pickett, and dude's a backup now for Philly, so. But in fourth place, I hate to do it. I really do. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. So in fourth place, we're going to go the Cleveland Browns. Just because, one, I cannot stand their quarterback. For reasons. We won't get into that, though. But that's not the main reason I'm saying that. Nick Chubb is out for the first 4 games of the season. Do they have viable backup running back options? Yes. Ford, he's there. We'll see what happens. But you're not going to move the ins and outs, cutting the lanes and stuff like Nick Chubb was before his injury. And I hope that man heals up, because I did draft him in all 3 of my fantasy leagues as a stash pick. So, yeah. In third place, give me your Pittsburgh Steelers. Why do I say that? This isn't to be funny. This isn't to troll. This isn't to do any of that sort of stuff. Logic dictates Russell Wilson's the starter. He's an upgrade from Kenny Pickett, believe it or not. However, I feel like we're going to get 5 or 6 weeks of Russell Wilson as the Steelers' starting quarterback, and then Fields is going to take over for that team. And I feel like once that happens, the locker room might get lost a little bit, things of that nature. The Steelers were ranting and raving that they were going to get Brandon Ayuk. They did not get Brandon Ayuk. So outside of like George Pickens, the wide receiver room's kind of Defense, the Steelers are always going to have a great defense. They got Chris Boswell. But for these reasons and these reasons alone, give me the Pittsburgh Steelers finishing 3rd in our division. Now, comes to your bread and butter. Will the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, or will the Cincinnati Bengals take the AFC North? Now, it's better to not bet against my own. But sometimes we have to do things we don't like. And sometimes we got to use a little bit of reverse psychology here. So that said, give me the Cincinnati Bengals in 2nd. Y'all thought I was going to pick it? Huh? But the reasons I say these things, Jamar Chase, you know you're my boy, LSU product, is holding out with 2 years left on his contract still. Jetta's got his contract. Those guys were a tandem at LSU. But why is this man holding out with 2 years left on his contract? And then there's reports that have come out. We don't know how Burrow's wrist is doing. I hope it's well. I hope it's healed up, because I want the best version of any team that my team plays. I don't want there to be excuses. Oh, you only beat us because I see that all the time with the Bengals back in 2021 when we had the IR roster. And I'm guilty of saying so myself. That was an IR roster, which it was. But, if you wanted to do something about it, stop it. So that means, and they also lost Joe Mixon. And I don't care what anybody says. Joe Mixon was a valued starting running back for Cincinnati. I can't even tell you. I think it's like Zach something. Like, I know I drafted him in one of my fantasy leagues as like an RB4. But yeah, for these reasons and these reasons alone, and also, your defense is going to get a little weaker there. You don't think the other teams, Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, Lamar T-Pain, Pimp Juice, Aloysius Jackson, that's not his actual name, it's Lamar Demetrius Jackson, but for comedy purposes, aren't going to take advantage of that? Now let's talk about who I have winning the AFC North. Did we lose some people? Absolutely. We got younger on the O-line. That frightens me, but excites me at the same time. Lamar shed 15 to 20 pounds. Do you know what that means? The RPO options are deadly. Because if you think Lamar's getting the handoff, and then Henry's gone. Which I said we were going to get into that a little bit later. King Henry, Dereck Henry, Dereck, is now a Baltimore Raven. And I think he's another player who I drafted in all 3 leagues. Because 1, I just wanted a Ravens player, and 2, it's freaking Dereck Henry. Come on now. Our wide receiver group took a hit. We lost Odell. As an LSU fan, that saddens me. As, somebody who's an OBJ fan, people always ask me, like, from 2016 up until now, who's your favorite receiver in the league? And I could tell them, like, Chase, Jefferson, because of LSU. I'm like, Odell Beckham Jr. It's Odell. It will probably always be Odell. So if nobody else is defending him, I will. If he has no fans, no, I am no longer Grayson. We don't got to go there, though. Defense. We lost our defensive coordinator. That worries me a bit because Mike McDonald was a dog. However, Zach Orr was a linebacker that played in the Ravens defense. He's got some experience there. And I believe that this man is going to be another head coaching candidate down the line. My only hope is, if that is the case, that if for some reason this team does not make it to where they need to make it, and all I'm going to say in regards to this, because I'm going to put it in a tweet too probably once the season kicks off. Last year was Avengers Infinity War. This year, Avengers Endgame. That's all I'm going to say. Coach Harbaugh, if Dereck Henry asks for the ball 20 to 25 times a game, give him the damn ball. Why did we not use our running backs last year, man? That is frustrating. But yeah, so that said, just to recap, AFC West is the Chiefs, AFC North is the Ravens, AFC South is the Texans, and AFC East is the Dolphins. So that's 4 teams. Now, what 2 teams do I have making it in as the wild card? Let's make this relatively simple. The New York Jets, believe it or not, and the Los Angeles Chargers, believe it or not. And I know my Chargers fans are probably going to sit here and be like, yo, D, why you keep doing us like that? I want to leave y'all with something. In 2012, when the Ravens won Super Bowl 47, it wasn't as the 1 seed. It was as the 6 seed the 6 seed wild card spot. And Joe Flacco, shout out number 5, double agent number 5. Joe Flacco went on one of the most beautiful playoff runs we have ever seen from a quarterback, tying Joe Montana's record of 11 tutties to no interceptions. So that said, this will be out at the morning of NFL kickoff. I will advertise it same way I advertise any other podcast. We are now sitting at 235 subs on the channel, so I do appreciate that. I am grinding, I am pushing, I am trying to produce content that y'all will enjoy and appreciate. And, you know, it means a lot to me because, as I will tell you on every podcast that I do, this is what I want to do with my life. You know, I want to make connections, meet athletes, interview athletes, go to sporting events, you know. Some of that stuff's I can't say it's in the works, but, you know, stuff I would like to put into the works. I am going to the Ravens-Texans game Christmas Day, so that's pretty cool. We already covered stuff coming up on the channel. I did want to leave y'all with this again. I know I said in the NFC prediction video, the Kobe Bryant video, the player profile video I wanted to do was shelved. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen. I have a specific date in mind for when I want to drop that video and when I would feel it would be appropriate to drop that video. So we will be doing that down the line. And then on the podcast page, on the Fourth Down Forum podcast Twitter page, it was put to a vote of 67 to 40%. Yes, y'all want to see weekly pick'ems. So if for some reason I can't get to recording before Thursday night, then Friday night I will recap the Ravens-Chiefs game, and then we'll do the predictions. But something tells me I'm going to be able to work it to where, you know, maybe, just maybe, y'all might get a surprise video right before kickoff. Who knows? But thank y'all for the love and support. I appreciate it, and I will catch y'all on the next episode. Much love.